Bo El Paroah, ki ani chpareti es libo v'gomer. Come to Paro, because I have hardened his heart, and so forth. Ksiv, it's written, Umi kamcha ki Yisrael chulu, who is like your nation, like Israel, and so forth. Asher halchu Elokim, liftos lo la'am, that Elokim went to redeem them for a nation, v'lusum lo shem v'gomer, and to place them, and to give them a name, and so forth. Bishmuel Beis, Samech Zayin, Chaf Gimel. Ve'isa berabos bekoheles al pasuk tov shem mishem and tov, and it's brought in Midrash Koheles on the verse, a good name is better than good oil. Rabbi Bun b'shem Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani Amar Matzid u'shalach HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mahalech 500 shana liknos lo shem. So Rabbi Bun says in the name of Rabbi Shmuel, the son of Nachmani, we found that the Holy One, blessed be He, went the distance of 500 years to acquire for himself a name. Dichsiv, like it's written, Asher halchu Elokim uchulu, like it says that Elokim went and so forth. V'lasum lo shem, and to place for himself a name. V'kemoshe kasu b'nechemya, samech tes yud. V'atiti noso sumovsim b'faro uchulu v'ta'as l'chashem. That you've placed signs and wonders in Paro, and you've made for yourself a name. V'hine pirushem hainu ke'inyan or. Now the concept of a name is like the concept of light. Kemo shekasu b'dibur hamaschil as shabsos tishmoru. Like it says in the Mamer, that you should keep my Shabbos, Gimash, Nikra b'lashon mikra, Shem, Nikra b'lashon Zohar, or, because that's called in the pasuk, a name. The Zohar Kadosh calls it light. Hainu or Ein Sof, that is the infinite light. So it means a Giloy or Ein Sof. Vaschalas Giloy Ha'or Haya Al Yedei Ha'avos, and the beginning of the revelation of this light happened through the forefathers. V'zeh shekasu va'ir el Avram Hulu, and this is what it says, that I showed myself to Avram and so forth. B'kel Shakai, with Kel Shakai, Dainu Al Yedei HaMilah, and that is through the Milah Shabav Al Yada Nimshach B'chinas Giloy Ha'or B'chinas Malchus, that through the Milah you shine the revelation of the light into Malchus. I guess like the concept of Yisod to Malchus. That's so through the Malchus you have this concept of the Giloy Kel Shakai. Esa or Kitov, the concept of the light that's good. B'chinas Yisod, the idea of Yisod. So that's the shame. Again, is the or of Yisod. Esa or Kitov, the light that's good. Hamekasher Mechaber, that ties and unites. Achim kol zeh, v'shmi Havaya lo nodati lahem. But nonetheless, my name Havaya, I was not known to them. V'al-yidei Yitzias Mitzrayim nimshach Giloy Shem Havaya, and through the going out of Mitzrayim, you draw down the name of Havaya. K'dei lihiyos Giloy or lamata, tzarich lavo ha'amshacha melamay lamayla. And in order to have this revelation of light below, so the drawing down has to be from very high up. And just like through the bonfire, not just a torch, so the light shines to far away. So if you want to reveal further down, you have to have a higher light. So there's different levels of light. The Shemos correspond with, there's Kel Shakai, and then there's Shmi Havaya. Ayin bebira yeviu levush malchus. Ayin mashakasu b'sof dibar maskil vasisa b'gdei kodesh v'zeu tov shem mishem and tov. And this is what it says, that a name is better than good oil. Shemen Hatov hu b'chinas Chachma, that the good oil is the concept of wisdom, of Chachma, b'chinas Tov, Shem, and the concept of a good name, Hainu ha'amshach mi b'chinas Tov, shu Yisod, ha'me'ir b'chinas Shem hu Malchus. The concept of a good name is the concept of Tov, which is Yisod, that shines into the name, which is Malchus, like we said before, B'kel Shakai, Ho'idi amshach melamayla ma'chachma, and this Shem, this revelation of the name, is better than the Shem and Tov, than the Chachma, because it draws down from higher than the Chachma, B'chinas Keser, from the concept of the crown, Shulamayla Mihishtalshlus, which is higher than the order of creation. Al Ken Yochel Ha'ayir Gam Lamata, therefore it can also shine below. Mashkas b'Torah or Parshas Yisro, B'dibur Hamaschil Ma'arehem U'Masehem. V'zeu she'amru Razal b'Rabos Naso Parsha Yud Daf Reish Lamed Tes Amud Aleph. Now I guess by Yetzias Mitzrayim, the revelation was higher than just the Kel Shakai. Yeah, I guess you also had the Mila by Yetzias Mitzrayim, Dam Pesach and Dam Mila. But we seem to be saying that the revelation here is higher than just Kel Shakai, so maybe it's the Shorish in Keser. I'm not sure why he's saying that the Shem by the Shem is Keser. So what's the Gilui by Yetzias Mitzrayim? Anyways, Ushmo Manoach. So it says in Medrash Rabban Naso about Shmo Manoach, B'rus Rabba al Pasuk Shmo Boaz, Hashem Kodmi Lishman. It says that the wicked, they come before their name. Naval Shmo Gol Yas Shmo, Aval Tzadikim Shman Kodmim Lan. But by the tzaddikim, their name comes before them. Ushmo Elkanah, Ushmo Yishai, Ushmo Boaz Chulu. That his name is Elkanah or Yishai or Boaz, which is not the case by. So it says, and his name is such and such. So the name comes before him. Domin Liboran, that's compared to their creator. Shenemor Shmi Havaya, that it says, my name Havaya, Vahinu Ki Hashem, More Al Haor. That's because the name hints to the light, Hameir, that shines. The concept of the word Shem. So Shem Havaya means the Gilui, the light of Havaya. Ulchen Shman Kodim Lan, therefore their name comes before them. Oral Haor Shemeir Mimenu Lemerachok, that hints to the fact that their light shines to far. V'gam Shman Kodem. Also the concept of the name that comes first. Al derech Mirosh Mikedem Nesucha is like the idea that from the beginning, from the head, it's poured forth. Shekoach ha'arazuba mikedem milamayla mishtalshlus. That this revelation of light comes from Kedem, from the beginning, from beyond the order of creation. So the concept of Shman Kodem hints to the concept of Mirosh Mikedem. That the concept of the name hints to the idea of beyond Hishtalshlus of Keser. And look what's brought about on the verse. And these are the names of the sons of Israel of Hashem, Benyan Vasisilach Hashem, Kishem Gadolim. And there, where it talks about, I'll make for you a name, like the names of the great ones, Shezeu Shomri Magin David. That this is what it says. The shield of David, Mashakazva, Pasuk Shemen Turak Shemecha. And what's brought about the idea that your name is poured oil. That it makes the distinction between Tov Shem, Shemen Tov, and Shemen Turak Shemecha. At any rate, Inyan Lasos Loshem, the concept of to make for yourself a name, that that you have this external union of Chochmah and Bina, of Abba and Ima, of the mother and father, Lachiyos ha'olamos, to enliven the worlds, Amnam hanisim l'shenos ha'teva, but the miracles to change nature, Nimshach mi yichud pnimi da'abba va'ima, so that's drawn through a inner union of the mother and father of Chochmah and Bina. V'zeu v'lasum lo shem, and that's to make for himself a name. Which is not the case with the wicked. They're a concept of darkness. They're not like the concept of shame, which we said is Or. Or they don't have this light. Therefore, they don't have the name first. Hinting to that idea. Now the concept of the name Havaya. So that's Shemos in general. But now the name Havaya is also called the honor of Havaya, like it says, to fear the name of honor and awesomeness, the name that's honored and awesome. Parshas Kisavo Kavches Nun Ches, Moshe Rabbeinu al Vashalom bikesh Hareini nas kevodecha. And Moshe Rabbeinu asked, show me your kavod, meaning kvod havaya, that corresponds with the shem havaya v'niksiv, u'olam chayani v'yimalech kvod havaya chulu. No, the pasuk says, however, I am alive, and the honor of Hashem will fill the earth, and so forth. V'yimalech kvod havaya chulu, u'peresh b'sefer Shmuel Aleph, b'sefer, it says in Sefer Shin Aleph, Shar Sheni, maybe it's Shari Ora, and that in order to have the concept of that the honor of Hashem will fill to fill the flow into Malchus, it's through the concept of Chayani, which is the concept of Yisod, that draws down the flow from supernal wisdom and the supernal crown. Again, we don't see any distinction in the levels yet between Shem Havaya and Kel Shakai that it was implied before. That's also the concept of Yesod to Malchus. V'zeu kadosh chulu malo chol haaretz kvodo, and this is what it says. It's a holy, kadosh, 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 and so forth, holy, holy, holy. The whole earth is full of his kavod. Like we said here, it's the concept of the Gilui Shem, the arts is Malchus, and the kavod here we're talking about is drawing down from Lamed Beis Nesivos Chachma into Yisod to give to Malchus through the concept of Shem, and it says Hashem Tzvos, which is the concept of the Shem, I guess, in this context. Shuam Shachim so Viv Kol Alamin, it's the concept of drawing down from that which encompasses the worlds, Kadosh Muvdal, which is exalted and beyond Liyos Havayat Tzvos, to have the concept of Hashem Tzvos, Hashem's name, into the Olamos. Ein Zohar Chelik Beis Mishpatim Daf Tzadik Zayin Amud Beis. Look what it says in Zohar Mishpatim about this. V'hainu liyos meluchol haaretz kavodo, to have the concept of to fill the whole earth with his kavod, to draw this down. V'hainu mashakazim izeh b'dibur ha'maschil ko amar kulu v'nasati l'cha mahalchim. V'hainu mashakazim pasuk yel kol kavod chuppah v'hainu shah chuppah hu ha'makiv. And look what's brought in the Mamer about how on all honor there is an encompassing chuppah, that the chuppah is the makiv. That upon each kavod, the revelation of kavod, like we're talking about here, you have this encompassing light. So we've called almin, that which encompasses all worlds. That from this you have like the concept of, and he is like a groom who goes out of his chuppah and so forth. To run the path, to have the concept of the whole earth full of his honor. So Lerutz Orach is a concept of Yesod. Lerutz Orach is like Yorak Echetz of Yesod into Nukva. So It's a concept of Yisod to Malchus again, drawing down from the kavod, from the chuppah of Keser and Soviv Kolamin, like we're talking about here. That's the concept of drawing down kavod. And this is what it says. However, I am alive. Chai ani is the concept of Yisod, v'yamali kavod, and the kavod will fill and be drawn down to Malchus, v'niksiv, v'chabda b'faro. It's written, I will make heavy to Paro. V'amru b'rabos b'shalach suf parsha kafalef migarim la'kadosh baruch hu li tol shevach v'kavod lo Paro shinyero. And so it says, I will. So it literally it's translated as I will make heavy for Paro. But you can also say that the kavod, I will become honored by Paro. So when it says ani hichbareti es libo, so perhaps there's a drasha here about the kvedus slave Paro and the kavod Hashem that he brought in the first pasuk of the Mamer. So it says in Medrash Rabbah Bishalach. So who caused to the Holy One, blessed be He, to take this praise and honor? Lo Paro, wasn't it Paro? Shiniro, that he shook him out. Shinem Arviniya Paro, like it says, he shook Paro. Vechelo Bayam Suf, and his soldiers in the Sea of Reeds. V'fichach, and therefore V'chabda befaro, I will make Paro heavy. Or in this case, I will become honored by Paro, in the concept of the praise and the honor, that happens through the splitting of the sea. So it's brought, Medrash is there, Parsha Chav Bezel, Pasuk Yashir, on the verse, and then I will sing, Hado Dichsiv, Nachon Ki Sacha Me'az, like it says, your throne is prepared from then. What's the difference between the honor of the king and the Augustus, and so forth? Augustus Yoshev Chulu, that the Augustus sits while the king stands in front of him. It's the king of the kings. Shugilo Malchus to Ein Sof Malchus Tatzilos. It's a concept of revelation of Malchus of Ein Sof into Malchus of Atzilus. So you have a higher concept of Malchus and a lower concept of Malchus. So the Malchus of Ein Sof is like the Augustus, and the Malchus of Atzilus is like the Melech. So that's the difference between the kavod of the Melech and the Augustus. The kavod azenim shechaydi Paro, shinir Paro chulu, and this honor is drawn through Paro. So that's the king. It's one king that draws down a higher honor of a king. Shinira Paro chulu, that he shook Paro, binyan kriyas yamsu, for the concept of the splitting of the sea. And on this it says, Yanich paratias libo, that I hardened his heart, shimshach mizah. Shinir Paro chulu, that through hardening of Paro's heart, through the, so to speak, kavod, the kvedus of Paro's heart, that's how he comes to shake him, so forth, in order to give the higher honor, like it says, v'chabda befaro. Gedelios bechinas shevach v'kavod havaya, in order to have the praise and the honor of havaya. I guess the concept of Malchus of Ein Sof. V'zeu nimshach dafke mebechinas kvad lev Paro, and that's drawn down specifically through the hardening, or the heaviness of the heart of Paro. Now the concept of the heaviness of the word kavad or kavod, it has two explanations. Aleph lashon koved. The first is a language of heaviness. Anu kvad lev Paro. That's the heaviness of the heart of Paro. Tichbad havodal hanashim. That the work should become heavy upon the people. The work that Bnei Israel did became heavier and harder. Habez lashon kvod vikar kanal. And the second is the language of honor and preciousness that we were talking about in this context of the kavod, the kavod of Hashem through Paro. So kvad lev Paro can also be kavod. Achine Targum and Targum Bein lashon koved, bein lashon kavod, hakol binyan echad. However, the Targum doesn't make this distinction, but translates it all as one. Hainu lashon yikar. He just uses the language of preciousness or unique and special. Kvad lev, the uniqueness of his heart. Yikar libei. He simply says that it's the preciousness in his heart. I guess he feels himself his own honor to himself. Videi Moshe kvedim yakiran. But we also see by Moshe where it says that his hands are heavy. It says they were. We notice them uniquely. They're special and honorific because they are heavy. Es kvodcha yas yukrach, and the pasuk also translates your honor as your yoker, your specialness. So, but all these, both whether or not the actual definition should be heavy or it should be special and honorific, the same word yokar is used by the Targum, so you can translate it either way. These definitions intersect. V'hine b'malachim beis simin yudalet hachbeid v'shev b'veisecha. So it says, be heavy and sit in your house. I think it's by Tamar. B'gemara peragimul demud katan perish Rashi lashon kvedus v'lashon kavod. And Rashi there says it's both from the language of heavy and from the language of honor. So I guess because of the Maisa, so she was heavy, and also it gives her honor by being tsanua. In that way, that's a way to retain her honor. For Tamar, v'yesh lefarish, we can explain the beis perushim elu inyan echad, that both of these these explanations are one concept. Ki yakfed u'shiyeh yoshev beveso, because the heaviness that a person should sit in their house. Ka'adam shekaved alav milihistaltel, like a person that it's heavy for them to move around. So gamkin inyan kavod v'chashivus. It's also at the same time a concept of honor and importance. Al derech kol kvuda bas melech panima, like the concept of the pasuk that David HaMelech himself says that the honor for the daughter of the king is to be inwards, is inside. The chashivus, like he says, ki asiyas hamalacha v'atiltol, because doing the work and moving around, zeu hepech hakavod, it's the opposite of honor. Ulchein ne'amar b'Shabbos, v'chi barato ma'asos derachecha, that you should honor it from doing your actions. The fact that you stay home on Shabbos and not go out and do your things, so that even though it's a concept of kvedus, of staying home, but it's also a kavod. Asher hakavod hu shelo yisnai kederech uvdin dechol, that the honor is that you're not acting like the ways of the weekday and going out and doing it. V'chein muvan mipasuk tov niklev eved lo miskabed v'chaser lachem. So to the verse, it's good to be lowly and have work than being having honor and not having bread. Mishlesh simin yud beis tes ein sham bePerush Rashi. Look what it says there in Perush Rashi. Shari nikla hu hapech inyan kvedus. So the concept of being lowly is the opposite of the concept of heaviness. So kal, I guess the word kal is in light, is to go upwards, and the opposite of heavy. So, but it's also a concept of light being not important and embarrassed. And the opposite is heavy or honor. So when you stay home and you're heavy, it's the opposite of going out and being light. V'kumokovid rosh, hepech kalus rosh, like the concept of the difference between the heaviness of head and the lightness of head, like seriousness and foolishness. Since it says that it's good to be light, not honored, then being honored. So we see that there are two opposites. Shu inyan kavod, which is the concept of honor. So we see then that the concept of honor and heaviness is one concept. Therefore, the concept of being light is the opposite of this. Targum bein kavod ubein koved b'lashon echad. That's why the Targum doesn't make a distinction between these two definitions of whether it's honor or whether it's heaviness. It translates it the same. Yakir. Because these two definitions are close to each other. But it needs to be looked into. That the masters of the lashon of shoresh, like the Radak and so forth, and Mamer Bo El Paroah, they divided it into two different shorashim. And they did not awaken to this point that's brought from the Targum, the Masorah of the Targum. And just like we have the concept of honor and heaviness and holiness, kavod havaya, kavod chachamim min chalo, the honor of Hashem and the honor that the sages will inherit, that the sages inherit, chen v'kavod yitin Hashem, that grace and honor Hashem will give. That's on the side of Kedusha. So too you have on the other side a taiva v'kavod. You have desire and honor, that they take the person out of the world, and in holiness, Targum Yakar, Gematria Yesh, is the same Gematria as Yesh, 310, Lahan Chil Ohava Yesh, to give my loved one a Yesh, an honor. V'zeu ki mechabdai echabed is what it says, that those who honor me, I will honor them. This concept of the Shai Olamos, the reward from the mitzvahs. Ubekedusha hatargum yikar gematri ubelumazeh yikar v'gasus haruach, and on the other side you have the concept of feeling precious for oneself and coarseness of spirit, self-aggrandizement. Haman, like Haman said, "L'miach potza melech lasos yikar yoser mimeni." Like Haman said, "Who would the king desire to do yikar and honor more than me?" Ken yish kovid b'kedusha. So too you have on the other side the honor and holiness, Parshas Bo El Pasuk Kovid Even Nital Hachol, like it's brought in Rabbos on the verse, the heaviness of the stone and taking the sand b'mishleis min kavav. So Kovid Even, what she'even hu Yisrael, the stone is Yisrael. Shenemar, like it says, Misham roeh Even Yisrael, from there he shepherds the stone of Israel. So Koved Even then could be the heaviness of the stone, but could also be the honor of Israel. V'chin heharim v'agvos nikrau Koved. So too the mountains and hills are called heavy. V'harim elu ha'avos, and the mountains, that refers to the fathers. Gvaos elu imahos, and the hills refer to the mothers. So to it says, with you is this honor b'malachim alef samech gimel. Uperish b'michlol hakavod hainu hagadol. And Michlol explains from the Radak that kavod is the greatness. We can say in Kovid b'kedusha that the concept of heaviness and holiness, Kenyan Mamer Zal, is like our sages said in Umdin Lispalel Elamitoch Kovid Rosh, that we don't stand up to pray unless we have the heaviness of the head. Pirush Rashi Hachna, and Rashi explains that it means like humility and lowliness. Ki hu hepech hakalus rosh, because it's the opposite of lightness of head, thinking yourself important. Va'ayin b'Medrash Shmuel Parsha Gimel, the Avos b'Mishnah Havikal Rosh. Look what it's brought in Medrash Shmuel. Perish and Pirkei Avos in the Mishnah, you should be light to your head. Inyan hakalos hepech hakoved, that the concept of lightness is the opposite of heaviness. Mishnah, and then the Mishnah there, schog v'kalos rosh, the laughter and lightness of head. B'divrei Chasid sham, and the words of the Chassid over there, I guess in Medrash Shmuel, shakalus hu shayitzer hara make you low in haverus, that the lightness here is that the bad inclination makes light the concept of the sins. Just like the snake did for Chava, that pushed her against the tree of knowledge, and she touched it. So she and the snake said, "Hey, that's a proof that you won't die from eating it." So the snake made light of the sin, like the Yetzer Hara, our inner snake, and so too you have the opposite of this, who koved rosh is the heaviness of head. That means that even the light sins seem like heavy ones, just like kalus rosh means to make light of the averos. So koved rosh means to make heavy of the averos, to make them more stringent than they might be, by being subjugated and lowly completely in front of the Hashem may be blessed before you daven. And you fear very much to touch even some small thing to go against Hashem's will. The koved rosh, and the heaviness of heads, is through accepting upon oneself the yoke of heaven. Bechinas kvod havaya, the concept of Hashem's honor or heaviness. Ukinyan ol kaved, like the concept of a heavy yoke. So the concept of kavod for Hashem is also the concept of heaviness, of accepting the yoke. Shenizkar gabi melech avicha hichbidis ulo ulenu, like it says by the king, by Rechavam, that your father has made heavy the yoke upon us. So the yoke of a kingship is compared to something heavy. It uses the lashon hichbidis ulenu. Kol shechein ol malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. How much more so the yoke of the King of all kings, the Holy One, blessed be He, Shitzarach Liosol Tamid, that you have to have this constant yoke, Uke'inyan Tichpad Havoda Al HaNashim, like the concept of make heavy the work for the people. So Paro's work, we can compare it to Avodas Hashem, the yoke of heaven, Kamosh Kasuv Bishalas of Parshas Shemos, Gabe'inyan Kovid Evan, like the Shalah says about this idea of the heaviness of the stone. That we already said that we're comparing this to Israel, but the Shalah says that the heaviness of the stone is like the concept of being strong like a rock, to keep the mitzvahs of Hashem Yisbarich. V'nikra Eitan, and it's called Eitan, which means strong. So similarly, it says that Avraham was very heavy with cattle, bekesef b'zahav, with silver and gold. So I guess maybe there's a so there must be a drasha here, like L'cha Yud Gimel Beis. Maybe it'll say something like the mikna is the yoke, and the kesef and the zav is the love and the fear, or something, or the different kinds of love. But let's see what he says. He says, "V'amru Razal b'Rabus Sham Parshas Mem Aleph Taf Mem Daled Daled Mem Ches Gimel Madas Amris." Like it says, Yotziem because of his Zav. Like it says that he took them out with silver and gold. So the silver and gold of Avraham that he was heavy with, or that he had covered with, is also like the covered or the koved of the silver and gold that we took out of Mitzrayim. And the concept is Pirshu Bezor Chilek Aleph Parshas Miketz Tav Kuf Tzadik Vav Beis Bekesef Ubezahav, that with the silver and gold, him Hei Chasadim V'Hei Gvuros, that corresponds with the 5 kindnesses and the 5 strictnesses. Like the Mikdash Melech explains there in that Zohar, V'hem Nimshachim Emoach Hadas, and they're drawn down from the brain of Das, that divides into the 5 kindnesses and the 5 strictnesses. And that's like the concept of love and fear that are intellectual from the Das, like the concept of the yoke of the tefillin that has the Moach Hadas that's divided into 2, that's compared to a yoke on the shoulders. Perhaps. So here you have this Ava and Yira from Avram Avinu, V'zewin Kavad Me'od, B'Kabbalas Ol, is what it says, that Avram was Kaved Me'od, very heavy, meaning to say, with the yoke of heaven. Mashakazu B'Ava V'Yira Tzumim, Avram Kaved Me'od, B'Kabbalas Ol Malchus Shemaim, he was very heavy with the acceptance of the yoke of heaven, the kingdom of heaven, but Ava V'Yira Tzumim, with tremendous love and fear because of his Zahav. And therefore Avraham is called the strong stone, the dwelling stone, and so forth. So the concept of Eitan, which is the rock, like the Shalah says that it's a strong rock, but here we're saying that it also means meaning to strengthen avodas Hashem, but here we're saying it also means from the language of heaviness, of yoke of heaven. So too, the concept of prophecy is called a masa, a weight, something to carry. It's a concept of kavod Hashem and kavod Malchus Shemaim. Ubrabas lecha Parshas Mem Daled Mem Ches Beis Nun Beis Beis Al Pasuk K'masa Kaved. Like it says, like a heavy burden. Asara Lashonos Niknu Nevuah, that the prophecy is described by 10 different languages. Ve'echad mehen masa, and that one of them is this weight, this carrying. Shinevua kasha kemasa kaved, which is this heavy prophecy, like something heavy to carry. I guess like the different different masas that Yeshayahu Navi had about the nations. I guess decrees upon them. It was a difficult prophecy to hold. Look what's brought about Atem Nitzavim B'inyan V'shakal B'Pelasarim, that he weighs with the scale the mountains. Misham Yuvan Kovad Ha'evan, and from there you can understand the heaviness of the stone. The Kayal Heharim, that refers to the mountains, like you mentioned before, the Avos, or the concept of the Harim of Kfedus. That Harim and Gvos are Kfedus. Ishlomar, we can say in Kovid de Kedusha, the concept of the honor and holiness. Hanal, that we mentioned. Shaykh Gam Kein Linyan Kavod, Shubechinas Yakar, also is connected with the concept of honor, which is, like we said, is translated as Yakar. In the same way, like it says, the son who's precious to me is Ephraim, and it says, Yisrael, that in you I praise myself, I beautify myself. So So the concept of preciousness and honor is Yisrael, and like Haben Yakir Ephraim. This of Perakama de Megillah. Daf Yudva Amud Beis Amud Razal v'Yakarei Tefillin, and it says there that so it says the word V'Ikar refers to Tefillin. So the Tefillin is also this concept of the yoke of heaven and the preciousness and the heaviness that's upon you. Also because the person's soul is a portion of Elokabav haben yakili kanal, that the son who's precious to me is Ephraim, that Israel is precious because they have this kavod of Hashem in them. Like we said, therefore, just like we said before, that the concept of kavod refers to Israel, who's like a rock, an Evan, an Eitan, like the Avos, who is strong to serve Hashem with chesed and gvura. So then you have this concept of heaviness and hard like a stone, to fulfill the will of the Holy One, blessed be He.